The truth is not what you want it to be. It is what it is, and you must bend to its power or live a lie. My friends, each and every day we track these markets. 10 to 15 minutes is all we ask, so you learn how to follow the truth and not live a lie. You bend to its power. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks are mixed for the day. Yes, the markets are open even though it's Veterans Day. Bonds are closed, but the bond ETF is still trading. We see bonds and gold are up, and Bitcoin is down another 3%. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. It is up just under 0.25%. And what do we see happening? Well, this is the second day of an up move. Yesterday, we started pushing through, and at the end of the day, we were nicely through. As far as the candle goes, pushing up. Now, we had the candle clear this morning. That is a green up candle further up in the afternoon. But as we look at where things are, we are not reaching anywhere near the high from 2 weeks ago. Last week was a doji. We have a little green candle sitting right there above the weekly trend, well, sitting right there on the weekly trend line. Same on the 2-day. Now, the 2-day candle did finish drawing today. And what we see is we're close to average volume. And we were close to average volume in the afternoon. Again, not much going on big time in stocks, but it was technically up for the day. Where are we? Well, we are still long on the S&P 500. We are careful and we are watching just what's going on, not reaching that higher high. Now, we've seen it happen before here over these last run-ups. We've seen, well, I'm looking here, the high, I'm just looking here, 672.68, 673. So this is interesting. Going 2 weeks in a row and not reaching a higher high. Where have we had that happen in the past? I'm looking for 2 weeks where that is interesting, my friends. Again, we always look for patterns. We look for disruptions in patterns. And right now, we're only 2 days into a 5-day week. We'll see where this goes. We will pay attention to that. We put that in the memory bank. What do we see going on with the NASDAQ 100? Last week, green spinning top, almost a doji. We are now below that weekly trend line for sure. We have the 2-day is below it going into the second candle. The half-day is below it. And again, we see more weakness in the NASDAQ. That is one reason why we have seen on our 5-day plus ETF trading analysis and execution plan, we've gone bearish on the Qs. Now, just barely, hardly a coin toss, but we are paying attention to that weakness. And again, continuing to watch what's setting up, because at some point, what has gone up since late April will come a tumbling down. And when it does, friends, I'm afraid it could be hard. It's going to drag everything with it, because when this market starts to crumble, you're going to have a lot of people really long. And what do you do to cover your shorts? Sell everything. That's what happens. So I've seen it happen again and again and again. Guys, I've been doing this for over a decade now, watching these charts day in, day out. And it is, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I've been doing this show a decade. I was like, a decade only? I've been doing the stock market for what, close to 20 years now. But this show, just bringing it to you on a daily basis for 10 years. So again, I've seen things where I really first got involved in stocks is in the I got screwed in stocks. I watched, and you guys have heard this story just briefly, I watched my net worth cut in half during the dot-com bust. Yeah, I've been around that long to watch that. And that's when I decided I'm not getting screwed again. And that's one reason I dedicated myself to doing this for you guys once I learned how to chart stocks, was I'm going to help folks figure out what the hell is going on. And I do this for free. It's why we don't charge here. We appreciate you when you do support us and help underwrite some of the costs by being a Patreon supporter. That's why we share this for free. We do have special benefits for our Patreon supporters. That's just because you help underwrite the cost of the channel. So where are we? We're seeing some real weakness in the NASDAQ 100. Now, what's up with 20-year U.S. government bonds? They're up a little bit for the day, 0.46%, still sitting here. Now, this is weird. How did this get knocked off? Got to reset my trend line there. Why is that goofing on me? Now, when you're trying to set the trend line, you can always blow the screen up. See, that was not setting right. I could tell that. I knew I needed to zoom in. Okay, there we go. Now, we are below the trend line on the 2-day. We have pretty much a doji there, not a lot of volume. Really low volume over the last, 2.5 days here. And we see for the week, low volume so far, reaching the lower low. We have had things kick up. We've not crossed the trend line yet, but we are keeping a close eye on bonds. There's still some weakness there. What about gold? You know, gold popped through the weekly trend line. The 2 weeks of down movement, we noticed it last week. We didn't get to a lower low. Don't let these dashes confuse you. I warn you all the time. Always move to the sides. When I'm looking at this second red candle, I'm not looking at it until I move to the side. Then I can see we didn't reach a lower low last week. We popped over this week. We're up for the day 0.39%. We've had 2 days moving up. That was Monday and Tuesday, breaking that trend line. So we will pay attention to see if gold's going to catch on fire again. We are decently bullish. In fact, it's our biggest bullishness that we're seeing on our 5-day plus ETF trading analysis and execution plan. For those of you wondering, what is that? How do I get that? We email that out every day. Already emailed it out. And we load it up at the Patreon site for all of our paid Patreon members. So become one even at the lowest level. It'll just cost you $1 a day. And it's worth it. And you support what we do here for free each and every day. So we are watching gold, seeing if indeed it is turning around. We'll see how this week ends up. We got a few more days till we get there. Those who've been with us for a while, you know that we make our big decisions on Friday. Let's see what's going on with HODL pulling back today after a bump up yesterday, rolling over, staying well below the weekly trend line on the half day and the 2-day, wrapped up with a doji without a lot of volume. We still have that downward pressure since we broke that 2-week up move on the week starting the 13th of October. And again, weakness in Bitcoin. My friend, the bubbles of bubbles is out there. Everything is in a bubble. Real estate's in a bubble. Bonds, a bubble. Stocks, a bubble. Gold, a bubble. Bitcoin, a bubble. When this bubble breaks, man, it's going to be a bloodletting like we have never seen. How long can bubbles go on? A lot longer than people suspect. But as I have been investigating this, I've got some ideas as to when that bubble might burst. I'm going to share those first with our Patreon members around the end of this week. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate all of you. We love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.